Hello, I'm Geraldine Campbell. I'm 78 years old, and this afternoon we are going to talk with Dr. Tyndale about the safety in the homes and how we can keep safe. Dr. Tyndale, how are you?
Hi Geraldine, I'm fine.
Good. Now, what are some of the issues about keeping safe in the home?
Alright. Keeping safe in the home is about protecting oneself from injury. And there are many sources of injury in our home, which we think of as our castle or haven, but there are many sources of injury. Falls is one of those major sources. We have to think about what we can do to make our environment safer, because as we get older, we are at increased risk for things like falls and other injuries. And so it makes it necessary for us to try, to protect our space.
One of the things that I have found about the falls is as we get older, our balance is not quite as good as it used to be, right? I'll be walking in the home, and I find that if I walk faster, I'm able to keep my balance better than when I walk slowly. And you try not to hold on to anything as you're passing, but you find that as you get older, you depend a lot on something else or perhaps somebody to keep your balance. And of course, the shoes and the things that you wear, what do you think?
Yeah, so as we get older, it becomes a little bit more difficult to maintain our balance. Some people have other challenges with mobility. Sometimes we have other issues like vision problems that can also impair us.
Yes.
And so we always recommend that you try to make the home safe. So if you need to install rails along stairways, for example, that can help to give you support so that you reduce the risk of having a fall. We also have to bear in mind that falls can have severe consequences. Sometimes you fall and you get a small bruise or a scratch, and that's okay. But other times you can have severe injuries. You can break a hip, break a leg, have a head injury, and some people even die from a fall. And so when we think of that severity, then we know that we really need to safeguard ourselves.
Yes, because from my experience, like I have a cataract in my left eye. So you know that even that puts you out a little as far as vision is concerned. Now the bathroom, for example, I put in, Grab
bars.
Grab to hold, and make certain that like soap water you don't step at the end of your bath, because that is where like soap suds usually gather, but in the bath itself.
So we can talk about the bathroom. There are many things that you can do in the bathroom to keep it safe. So for instance, the entrance to your shower.
Yes.
A vertical grab bar is very useful there. It helps you to step into the bath safely. And then on the inside, a horizontal grab bar can give you support while you have your shower.
Yes.
Some persons can even install shower chairs. That way you don't have to stand and take the shower, so we don't run the risk of falling when we lift our leg. And we can sit, have the shower, and be safe. We can also think about removing rugs and mats that can be slippery.
I don't use a bath mat anymore in the bath, because the bath is supposed to be non-skid, and it works. But what I often think about is changing out the tub completely and putting something that is lower, so you just step into the shower area rather than, because who is soaking in the tub anyway?
That is one of the recommendations that's often made. So you want to be as close to the ground as possible. So even as zero entry, shower would be great. So you just walk right in, or something that you open a doorway. If you want to keep your tub, open a doorway to get into the tub, and it still has a lower entry level.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Where I live, we don't have stairs, and in my head I am thinking of stairs, because coming downstairs always pose a problem to us older ones. So is it recommended, for example? how people manage when they are older and they live on bottom floor. They live on top floor, sorry.
Yes, so there are some persons who are fortunate enough to be able to, convert to a single floor home, or maybe they can live only on the lower floor, but some persons will still have to use both floors, and there are ways to keep it safe. So we always recommend the installation of a long rail along the entire length of the stairs. That way you have something to hold on as you go up and as you go down. Also, keep the floor free of clutter. Don't pack up anything on the stairs. Yes, that's a big one. We like rugs, and sometimes people have rugs that line the entire length of the stairway. That's a no-no.
Yeah.
Yes, and other safety measures include...
You mean that sometimes they have a carpet on the stairs?
Yes, a carpet, yes.
And it's, okay.
Yeah, and that can be quite unsafe. You can also look into lights. So you have the area well lit so that you're always able to see where the stair ends, so you don't trip, you don't miss a step. You can also install some strips that will illuminate so that you can see the way. So you can still have stairs and navigate them safely. We just have to think about how can you modify the existing stair. And another thing we have to think about is our appliances and how we place them in their homes. Some of us use extension cords, and so we have the cables stretching across the floors and they're tangled and so on. Trip hazard, major trip hazard. You want to ensure that if you have to use an extension cord, you tack it safely to the floor so that you don't trip over it as you're making your way. With footwear, think about how can I get a safe shoe? Maybe I should step out of my flip-flops and have something that is secure on my foot so that it doesn't get caught in anything as I walk around.
Dr. Tyndale, what factors put people at risk? Ready for a fall, gear them up for a fall.
Well, we can think about the factors in maybe two broad categories. We can think of intrinsic factors and extrinsic factors. So the intrinsic ones are the ones that relate to you as a person, and it has to do with many aspects of your own health and well-being. So sensory impairment, for example, you might have vision problem, not seeing well, that can put you at risk for a fall. You might have overall body weakness, that can put you at risk for a fall too. So balance issues can put you at risk for a fall.
And the general weakness, so then you're going to correct that with what? Your vitamins, your diet, so that the body itself gets stronger.
Yes, and sometimes it has to do with what is causing that weakness, so some of that can be corrected. So you'd want to have a consultation with your medical doctor to get advice on that. Some persons also who are on certain medications can be at risk for a fall. There are certain sedatives that can cause dizziness and that sort of thing that can increase your risk for a fall. Again, we always recommend that persons maintain their health visits, they get their medication reviews so that doctors can ensure that you are on the appropriate medications and that they are not, the side effects are not hazardous to your overall health. From the side of the external or extrinsic risk factors, we can think about things in your environment. So whether your home environment matches your capabilities. As we get older and our capacities change, our environment might not be appropriate for us. And so we think about what can we do in the home to increase our chances of navigating safely. Yes. So we're thinking about things like grab bars, rails, non-skid rugs, non-skid floors, those things in the environment that you can adjust.
Yes, Dr. Tyndale. What happens when somebody gets a fall? What do we do?
Well, when you get a fall, we always recommend that you visit your doctor as soon as you're able to. Because you would want to have those investigations done to ensure that you have not suffered any severe injury. That could be a fracture anywhere, it could be a head injury, and sometimes those might not be readily noticeable by you. So always get checked out as soon as possible. We also encourage persons and their caregivers to report falls to the doctor. So even if you did not go right away for some reason and you had some subsequent doctor's visit, always bring it up. Even if the doctor doesn't ask, you bring it up, let them know you had this fall, and then they can do further investigations.
But I would think that if I had a fall, I would get myself checked out. At this age, I really would get myself checked out, even if there's nothing obviously wrong. Because if I hit somewhere, you never can tell, what the implications are of that.
Yes. Many people are not as willing to do that. Sometimes people will try to, mend themselves at home, and so they will do their little rubbings and their other little things to take care of the injury without seeking, advice. But we do recommend that you seek your physician's assistance as soon as you can.